In a world strikingly similar to our own, a sprightly lad named Yim lived. The boy was a born explorer, perpetually fueled by curiosity and a hunger for adventure. Yim's life took an exciting twist when he discovered an extraordinary coin. The coin, unlike any he'd ever seen, had a certain radiance emanating from within. The coin was not just a piece of metal, it was a gateway. It had the power to unlock the forgotten realms of a lost world, filled with unimaginable wealth and peril alike. Life had its share of ups and downs for Yim, but this coin was a treasure that arrived subtly. His curiosity persuaded him to keep the coin with him, always, unlocking bits of its mystery each day. Propelled by courage, Yim decided to journey into the unknown, the lost world. His heart pulsated with anticipation and determination, ready to tackle whatever lay ahead. The expedition wasn't a walk in the park. Life lessons lurked around every corner, hidden within challenges. Each step forward taught Yim about friendship, resilience, and the significance of the journey, and not just the destination. Upon stepping foot in the other world, Yim was met with a unique milieu. The terrains were treacherous, and the creatures mythical yet terrifying. Each trial Yim faced boosted his growth. Every fear he conquered, every risk he took him one step closer to personal self-discovery. In the heartland of this strange world were villains, eager to claim it. Each villain had their story, complicating Yim's sense of justice. Yim learned empathy, realizing that understanding was necessary, even for those considered foes. This was among the many lessons the lost world taught him. A battle soon erupted for the world's control. Yim, aided by newfound comrades, stood against the villains. They tested the potency of determination and the power of unity. Victory came their way, but not without sacrifices. Amid the victory, Yim found solitude to contemplate his journey, his trials, his alliances, and his evolution. Reflection, Yim concluded, was as vital as the journey itself. It allowed him to appreciate his triumphs and revisit the lessons learned. Homecoming held a new meaning for Yim. He returned with a heart brimming with memories and a head full of wisdom. Yim, a storyteller now, shared accounts of his feats, inspiring friends. He understood that the power of connection could spark a positive change, much like the coin that started his adventure. Once upon a time, in a beautiful meadow surrounded by tall trees and sparkling streams, there lived a little bunny named Benny. Benny was 3 years old, just like you, and he loved to explore and learn new things. One sunny day, Benny decided to go on an adventure into the forest. He packed a small bag with some carrots, his favorite snack, and set off early in the morning. As Benny wandered deeper into the woods, he came across all sorts of fascinating creatures, like birds chirping in the trees and squirrels scampering up and down the trunks. Benny was so curious that he wanted to know everything about these animals, so he asked them lots of questions, like, "What do you eat?" and "Where do you sleep?" The first animal Benny met was a wise old owl named Hooty. Hooty had big round glasses perched on the end of his beak, and he looked very intelligent. "Hello there, young bunny," Hooty said warmly. "You're quite early. Most bunnies don't venture this deep into the forest. Are you lost?" Benny shook his head. "No, I'm not lost. I'm on an adventure. There's so much I want to learn about the forest and the animals who live here." Hooty chuckled softly. "Well, young bunny, the forest is indeed full of wonders. I'll be glad to help you on your journey." And so, Benny began his curious journey with Hooty. They started by visiting the birds, who sang the most beautiful songs Benny had ever heard. They taught Benny about their diet of seeds and insects and how they built nests to keep their eggs safe. Benny was fascinated. Next, they met the squirrels. Benny was amazed at how fast they could climb trees. The squirrels showed Benny their acorn stores for winter. Afterwards, they came across a flutter of butterflies, who taught Benny about their transformation from caterpillars. The butterflies' wings looked like magical paintings to Benny. The day was coming to an end, but there was one last creature Benny wanted to meet, the foxes. He had heard tales of their cunning. The foxes were initially suspicious, but Hooty assured them that Benny meant no harm, and so they told Benny stories of their escapades in the forest. As night fell, Benny thanked the creatures for their lessons. He promised to visit again soon. As he left, the forest echoed with the sounds of their goodbyes. Benny returned home with a heart full of wonderful memories from his adventure. He couldn't wait to share his stories with his friends. Over the next few days, Benny shared tales of his adventure. His friends listened in awe as he recounted his encounters with the owl, the birds, the squirrels, the butterflies, and even the foxes. Soon enough, Benny's friends wanted to join him on his next adventure. Benny agreed happily, eager to return to the forest and learn more about its fascinating inhabitants. So the following week, Benny and his friends set off on another adventure, guided once again by the wise old owl, Hooty. The forest welcomed them warmly. They revisited the birds, the squirrels, the butterflies, and the foxes. This time, with Benny's friends by his side, the experience was even more magical. They met new creatures too, the graceful deer, the bustling beavers, and the family of hedgehogs. Each animal had an interesting story to share. On their journey, they learned the importance of cooperation, respect for nature, and the virtues of curiosity and courage. It was an unforgettable experience for the young bunnies. Benny was proud of the little community he had built. They had fostered friendships not just among themselves, but with the creatures of the forest as well. After several delightful adventures in the forest, Benny and his friends became known as the Curious Bunch by the forest creatures. They were always welcomed with joy. Benny and his friends continued their exciting adventures, eager to learn and explore. The meadow, the forest, and its creatures had become their second home. And so, the adventurous bunny, named Benny, left his mark not only in his meadow, but also deep within the heart of the forest. His curiosity ignited a spark of exploration in his fellow bunnies. Even as Benny grew older, his heart remained young, always ready for a new adventure. His journey was a testament to the power of curiosity and the courage to step into the unknown. To this day, if you happen to find yourself in that splendid meadow, listen carefully. You might hear tales of a small, adventurous bunny named Benny echoing in the wind. And if you follow these tales into the forest, you'll discover a world of wonder, just like Benny did. The forest, with its magnificent creatures, awaits you, ready to share its secrets. So keep your hearts open and nurture your curiosity. You never know when you might embark on your own magical journey, just like Benny the Bunny. Once upon a time, there was a family that did everything together. They were the Browns, Martin and Susan, and their son Danny. As a young child, Danny was not the easiest to deal with. He would often throw tantrums and make life difficult for his parents. However, as he grew older, Danny began to mature, and by the time he was 20, he had become a responsible and thoughtful young man. As a family, the Browns spent a lot of time working together in their garden. They loved the outdoors and took pride in maintaining their home's exterior, with a great big lawn, beautiful flowers, and a vegetable patch, there was always something to do. Danny loved working with his parents, and he learned a lot from them. Martin taught him about gardening, and together they would prune trees, mow the lawn, and weed the flower beds. Susan helped Danny plant seeds and showed him how to care for various plants. The family also spent a lot of time in their greenhouse, where they grew various plants. They had everything from herbs and vegetables to exotic flowers. The greenhouse was a haven for them, even on rainy days, as they could still enjoy the warmth and greenery inside. Together, the Browns had a knack for fixing things around the house. They enjoyed working on their old motorcycle and car, learning how to repair and maintain them as a team. Danny was particularly interested in these projects and would often take the lead. It was a great bonding experience for the family. The Browns were a very close family, sharing both laughter and tears. They would gather around the kitchen table for dinner each night, sharing stories about their day and discussing future plans. This ritual kept them connected and allowed them to grow closer. As Danny continued to grow and mature, he began to take on more responsibility. He would take care of household chores when his parents were busy and even started to help his neighbors with various tasks. This newfound responsibility made Danny feel proud and boosted his confidence. On weekends, the family would often pack a lunch and spend the day at a nearby park or nature reserve. They would hike, picnic, and explore the beauty of their surroundings, marveling at the wonders of nature. These outings were treasured memories, and the family grew even closer. Over the years, the Brown family faced their share of challenges. Whenever they encountered difficulties, they would come together as a team to tackle the problem. Whether it was a financial setback or a health issue, they knew they could always rely on each other for support. Danny eventually decided to pursue a career in horticulture, inspired by his love for plants and his experience working in the family greenhouse. He went on to study at a prestigious university, and in due course he earned his degree and began working in his chosen field. Despite the demands of his career, Danny always made it a point to spend time with his family. As Danny's success grew, he decided to buy a larger property with enough space to create an extensive garden. In his new home, Danny created a beautiful landscape filled with plants, flowers, and trees, influenced by the lessons he had learned from his parents during his childhood. Danny's parents were incredibly proud of their son's accomplishments, and they loved visiting his new home to help with the garden. Often, when they arrived, they would find Danny already hard at work, just as they had been during his youth. The sight of their son happily tending to his garden brought them immense joy. In time, Danny met a lovely woman named Sarah, who shared his love for the outdoors and gardening. As their relationship grew stronger, Danny introduced Sarah to his parents. Martin and Susan were thrilled to see their son happy and welcomed Sarah into the family with open arms. Before long, Danny and Sarah decided to get married, and the Browns worked together to create a beautiful and memorable wedding. A few years later, Danny and Sarah were blessed with a child, and once again the Brown family came together. They spent countless hours creating a beautiful nursery filled with plants and greenery, just as they had in the greenhouse years ago. They taught their grandchild about gardening and the importance of family, just as they had taught Danny. As the years passed, the Browns continued to bond over their love for the outdoors, the garden, and their shared family experiences. Together they had created a lifetime of memories filled with hard work, laughter, and joy. The Brown family had grown up together, and through it all had remained one, and so they would for many years to come. In the tranquil depths of the enchanted sea, 5 mermaids lived harmoniously. They were lovely, young, and free-spirited, gliding with grace among the vibrant coral reefs and weaving through crystal-clear waters filled with sparkling schools of fish. Their days were filled with laughter, songs, and merry games. They danced with the dolphins, exchanged secrets with seashells, and basked in the warm glow of the underwater sun. It was a magical life below the waves. If the surface world had their sunsets, the mermaids had their moon pools, bright, tranquil pockets of sea illuminated by the moon. Here they gathered each night, their melodious voices filling the ocean with captivating songs. One such night, as they swam towards their favourite moon pool, their joyful giggles were silenced by a dreadful sight. A monstrous creature rose from the dark abyss, wrapping them in his slimy tentacles. The creature's eyes were cold, its voice thunderous. It declared that it had been lured by their songs, and now they would serve him in his abyssal lair. Terrified, the mermaids could only stare in disbelief. Dragged through the dark, cold depths by the monster, the mermaids clung to each other. They were brought to a dismal fortress in the heart of the sea, caged by the monster's tentacles. The days turned dark and cold. The once chatty and vibrant mermaids were now silent, their spirits seemingly crushed. Their world had become one of fear and sorrow, enslaved by the monster. They missed the warmth of the sunlit reefs, the schools of colourful fish, their moon pool, and most of all, their freedom. As the monster gloated in their misery, the mermaids knew they had to act. Compelled by their longing for home, they hatched a plan. Utilizing their quick thinking and teamwork, they began to whisper sweet, enchanting lullabies, the same ones that had lured the monster. The monster listened, entranced by their songs. The lullabies were so soothing that the monster's grip on them began to loosen. Their plan seemed to be working. As the monster drifted into an enchanted slumber, the mermaids started to untangle from the loosened tentacles. It was a delicate task, requiring patience and precision, but the mermaids worked together seamlessly. Once free from their slimy prison, the mermaids quietly swam towards the exit. Their hearts pounded wildly as they navigated the twisted tunnels of the monster's lair, ever fearing that it would awaken. They finally emerged from the dark tunnels, seeing the open sea at last. But their joy was short-lived as they felt the rush of water behind them and heard the monstrous roar of the awakened creature. The monster, enraged by their betrayal, surged after them, sending waves crashing. The mermaids, driven by fear and the desire for freedom, swam faster than they had ever before. The chase was a strenuous battle of wills. The monster's monstrous roars echoed around them, but the mermaids kept on, their strength waning but their spirits undeterred. They were so close yet so far. Just when they thought they could swim no more, a loud, thunderous clash resonated from behind. The monstrous roars had suddenly quieted, replaced by an eerie silence. They turned to see what had happened. A great seawall had collapsed onto the monster, trapping it under the weight of countless boulders. The monster's reign of terror had ended, leaving the mermaids a clear path to freedom. The mermaids breathed a sigh of relief as they swam freely back to their sea home. The terrible ordeal was over, and they were stronger and more united than ever before. They found their once vibrant home a little dimmer, a little quieter, but with their return, the ocean seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, and all the creatures welcomed them with joy. They shared their tale with the ocean, and their bravery was applauded far and wide. Their adventurous spirit and undying hope became legendary, tales that the sea would whisper to the moon. The sea was their home once more, safe from the tentacle monster. They rebuilt their lives, stronger and happier, their bonds deepened by the ordeal. They sang their songs this time, songs of triumph. The mermaids were united by their shared experiences and shaped by their adventure. They became the guardians of the ocean, protecting it from any harm. The enchanted sea flourished under their watch. The once terror-stricken mermaids became symbols of courage, their tale inspiring generations, and while the memory of the monster still brought shivers, it also served as a reminder of their resilience. Their tale echoed through the ages not as a tale of victimhood, but of empowerment and freedom. The mermaids, once prisoners, were now warriors, protectors of the enchanted sea. The 5 mermaids continued to fill the sea with their enchantments and laughter. They swam freely once more, their hearts filled with joy, their spirits unbroken, their freedom reclaimed. And so, the enchanted sea remained a haven of beauty and freedom, echoing with the triumphant songs of the mermaids. Their tale was woven into the heart of the sea, a testament to their undying spirit.